chicken stupid watch. Since when they sell Rolex at a BB spots? Goddamn, man, I could never tell you. I ain't rolling with no fucking tools, but we come and drill you. Two styrofoam cups up, we gon' come and spill you. And when the bill due, young dude, we gon' come to bill you. I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. I got a bad bitch, yeah, she got a stupid box. Stupid die, you ain't getting shit from me, baby, stop. Diamond rings, pearly thing, you must think I'm stupid, huh? We ain't stupid, nah, well educated. Filet o fish, niggas never seen the fish scale. They always talking shit, nigga, I just wish you well. Niggas want the drugs, give them quarter flip to wish you well. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Silly, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. For really, yeah, I get much and plenty. Most your niggas still in the well, wishing for a penny. All the way you're proud, nigga, choose now. When the biscuit up to your head, you better speak loud. Cause all my niggas ruthless, some of them niggas toothless. They ain't got nothing to live for, they shoot shit. And we talking about the beat, pull up to the roof, Chris. I'ma have you served well done on a toothpick. Spin around your block like a motherfucking fire spin. And nigga, we ain't camping, nah, man, this shit intense. Heard you talking shit on the block, but what's your intent? Pussy nigga. Yeah. I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Bitch.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Cypher, episode number 24. I'm your host, the owner of Upstate Aesthetic, Andrew Kazir. Every week, I'm joined by my two awesome co-hosts, Anthony Cannon and Sheridan Crane. We just opened with Chicken Spot, courtesy of a friend of the show, Ryan Pierce. That might become our new theme song at this point. Played it back-to-back weeks to open the show. But how you guys doing?
Man, I'm doing great. You know, anytime you start your morning off with Chicken Spot by Process, I think you're in for a good day. Every time I hear that song, it just sounds better and better. Like, I'm not going to lie, the first time I heard it, I was like, this is dope. But it's weird. Now it sounds natural. It sounds like I can't do anything except smile and laugh right now. How you doing, Sheridan?
It's been a rough week for me. It's been definitely a rough week. There's been ups and downs though. I've had some really good things that I found out about and some really, really shitty things that happened. But you know, I've been recording a shit ton of music and just continuing to grind, so I'm letting it motivate me.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm sorry to hear that, dog, but I know that pain gonna bring out some of the best music you ever made. And I hope that your week gets better, homie.
That's a fact. Hopefully your week gets better, and hopefully it can start getting better with the Cypher. We got a bunch of good stuff to talk about, some fun conversations lined up. I haven't really been up to a lot, just been working on school stuff, focusing on that, trying to figure out ways to flip the system so I can work on Upstate Aesthetic stuff and still get college credits for it. And I think I figured out a way to do it, so keep an ear out for another Live From Your Timeline. We'll hopefully be doing that in November, courtesy of my college. So that's the best way I could flip that into something college related. So looking forward to that. There's been a lot of music dropped this week. We got Pinky Promise from Jake Daniels, Shy Boy Remastered from T Mako, Cold Hearted from Ryan Bronson. We also got a video from Carlito Black called Brownsville Homage. And of course, we got a full-length project, L.A.M.E. by Kyng. That dropped on August 28th. We finally got that in full on streaming services. That was really exciting, one we've been talking about for a while. We got to preview a couple tracks off of it. What did you guys think? You guys were featured on 2 tracks on it. So what did you think finally getting to hear the full-length project?
You go first, Sheridan, on this.
So a lot of those songs I hadn't heard before. Both Muscle Up and K.I.I.M. I had heard. I was in the studio when he recorded. K.I.I.M. is actually like one of my favorite songs that's come out this year for sure. Like, I love that song. The flow is crazy. The bars are dope. And Muscle Up is another one of my favorites. And I don't know if it was just because I was in the studio at the time that he was recording them or what, but those are the ones that I keep, besides the one that I did with him, those are the ones I keep going back to. He said, what does he say? He says, I flex when I walk, calf muscle or some shit like
Yeah,
that. That's crazy.
that
That's crazy.
shit was dope. It's funny. It's one of those subtle bars that like come back and hit you like, oh shit, like. I thought the project was real dope. I did hear most of it prior to release, but it wasn't in any type of order. You feel me? I was looking forward to just listening as a consumer. I wasn't even worried that I was on the project once it actually released, because Kyng is somebody I've been anticipating for a while. Somebody I want to make more music with, somebody that I can't wait to see where his sound goes up from here. You feel me? I can't remember all the songs by name. I'd be lying if I said that. I probably listened to the project 3 times. Just let it rock. My favorite song off the top of my head would be like that. It looked like Tony, I'm reloaded. Like
Mhm.
I think that flow is so cold. I think it's one of the most cohesive tracks on there. And he has another one where he's like the COVID, I'm coughing, put you in a
Yeah.
coffin. So like
Yeah,
his
KIM.
that's KIA. Okay,
Yeah.
facts. Like his flow was fucking nonstop on that. He really just chopped that shit up. When I heard that prior to the actual release, my favorite song that the heard it. And it's definitely one of the back to. Very excited about his debut, and I know that it's only up from here.
Fa-
Facts.
What'd you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I really liked it. I kind of heard it in the same way you had in because I had gotten it beforehand, and you when you get it in an email, it doesn't all come in order sometimes, so you hear it out of order. So being able to hear it top to bottom was really good. Like I really liked that, and it was basically essentially what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. It's a great start for him, and it makes you excited for where he can go from here because of the potential that you hear from a project like this. Like this is a really exciting project in terms of it was just really good. We haven't heard a whole lot from Kyng up until this point, and so for this to be his debut, and it started out great and just continued. The project continued really well. There were some tracks that I didn't love, but that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would expect. Otherwise, it was really
Yeah,
entertaining for my
I would
first
agree.
taste from Kyng.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I was talking to Corey the other day, and I told him the only criticisms that I had, the project was the perfect length, 8 songs. It was just some of the songs outshined other songs. It doesn't matter. It's your debut. There wasn't any completely weak links. You feel me?
Yeah,
I don't even know what songs you would cut from it. You feel me? But that's just the type of shit that'll get better on your next project.
Yeah.
Between him and Don Pablo, I think Cortland had a successful ass year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Between my
I
man
agree.
Sheridan, like the scene in Cortland is wild, which is something that, if I was in high school, I would have never believed. It's
Yeah.
probably what people think about Ithaca, though. Like y'all niggas
All
is
these
really
it's what
putting on
people
for
think about
Portland.
a lot of these towns, you know what I mean? And it's cool to
Yeah,
see that happen for Cortland. And yeah, this project, like you said, there's definitely not any tracks that I would say oh need to come off it because they just aren't tracks that are for me. But the project itself, like
yeah,
you said, great length. It was what 21 minutes. That's easy to consume, real easy to listen to. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, you really should. It's a really good project, really fun. It features a track by Sheridan, a track from Anthony. We're gonna actually play the one featuring Sheridan later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this was a really good debut project from Kyng, and something I'm really excited because I know they have more lined up, and I know that he's involved in what they have lined up. So this is good.
yeah. They got a lot of group work that they have that's gonna come out soon. I don't know exactly when, but I do know that King snapped on a couple of those tracks.
Facts.
Oh my! Like they all went back and forth, and some of my favorite King verses are on the Dim collaborative pieces. So I'm excited for everything that they got as a unit.
Yeah. I've been waiting for that for I don't know how long now.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a
The
while.
collaborative project, they did a whole bunch of tracks off of it for the first live from your timeline, but they haven't actually dropped the project yet. So I'm excited for that when that comes, and this was a good stepping stone to that. It makes me excited for it as well. A little bit more excited even because now I know what Kyng brings to the table, and it's something
Exactly.
good. It's something entertaining. So this was
I,
great.
I love how much they work as a unit in the background while all pursuing their individual things. You feel me? Like that's important for a group success. They're all the buzz that they build up as individuals and the respect that they garnish as individual artists is only going to come back to be a benefit when they do drop that group work. You feel me? I actually think it's very smart.
That's a fact, and so I'm excited that we finally got that project. I believe next week we're going to get a new project from MBK Ritchie. His Throwaways 1.5 EP. We were supposed to get a different EP, but he had to change some stuff up. But we are still getting a project and new music from him, so I'm excited for that. Uh, yeah, and then and Richie might be on the show next week. He reached out to me last week about doing an interview. I was also supposed to reach out to Kyng this week to try and get him on the show. I've been so busy, didn't get that facilitated. But I'm going to reach out to Kyng, try and get an interview for you guys that's not on the Cypher, but for the website. So that way we can get Kyng's insight on this project, because I want to hear a little bit about what he thought putting this together. We can get a little bit of answers to that. And so I'm excited for that. And I just thought about it as I talk about Richie's project, because, like I said, he reached out, said he wants to jump on the show and promote his project that he's dropping, I want to say, on the 11th. So it's going to be a busy month, apparently.
I think Throwaways 1.5 is coming on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Facts.
I thought about it because the reason it's sticking in my mind was because one of my original release dates for upcoming Print 11. Announced a date for the project. Mad work for you guys, and I haven't announced it because once I do it, I'm not going back. I gotta solidify that. And I want to have everything ready, music, videos, all that. So I'm looking forward to Throwaways 1.5. I think people see the cover art and hear the name Throwaways and think that it's gonna be just that, like old tracks or something that you just weren't good enough for the album. Throwaways 1 was a very solid EP. I really fucked with it, and Tough is still one of the hardest tracks I heard this year.
And right. Facts. And when it's Richie, even if it's a track that's not gonna make his project, that just means he's got better tracks for the project, which is it's not a testament to say that this project is bad. It's more or less to say that his official project is going to be really good, or at least the expectation should be higher for it, because these EPs have been good, or the first one was at least.
Yeah, if he that's the biggest point, I think. If he has music that is so good, but it still wasn't good enough to make the album, that's a really good sign. Like exactly. you listen to a Throwaway EP or whatever, and it's very solid. You're like, holy shit, what wasn't thrown away?
Yeah.
Like what was gonna make the album? Like
it just makes you speculate, and that's 2 EPs in 1 year. He's been working, dropping singles and collaborations all year, doing moves with the L.A.M.E Flames. You feel me? Richie's been putting in a lot of work, and I got my hats off to him. So I'm looking forward to 1.5, seeing how it stacks up against the original one. And while I'm just waiting for this actual project.
Facts. And like I said, we should have him on the show next week to talk about that a little bit. And he was supposed to get on a while ago and let us know his thoughts on a little bit. So maybe we'll get that as well a month or two late, but we'll still get it. Next on the docket, we got the Jaden Smith release. We talked about it a little bit last week. I'm curious if you guys got a chance to listen to it. Sheridan, I know you did, but Ant, I'm not sure. And I'm curious what you guys thought.
I didn't listen to it front to back.
What?
I'm pulling up the track list right now to see what songs I did hear, but I didn't hear the whole project.
Did you start listening to it to go front to back and then just weren't with it, or were you just like, I'm gonna check out tracks featuring certain people?
I plan to listen to the whole project regardless. I think I didn't realize that the project actually dropped and somebody played a song from it, and I went back to listen to 1 or 2 tracks because I was rushing in the process, and I can't even remember what the names were. I think it was the Birth of Sire in the intro, but I don't actually know. Jaden
Birth of Sire's dope.
Yeah, anytime you could tell, because anytime he incorporates any of the title names in his songs or themes, even, it's fire. I think Jaden is a really talented artist, and we got to keep in mind that he's our age. Like
dude, that's what's crazy.
Exactly. So
that's what's crazy, bro.
The type of music he could be making when he's 25 or 30, he really could be one of the best of this generation in terms of just music and artists. Like, I genuinely believe that. If he keeps going. I haven't heard the project though, so this might be a step back. I might have to take my answer from that.
I feel like you might not like it as much as I do, because it's not real. There's not a lot of rapping, and there's maybe 1 or 2 songs where he actually raps It's all like singing melodies. It's love songs, breakup songs.
But
He's been going through it. It's
that's
almost like. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say that's why I put him in the artist category. But he's one of the artists who can
Yeah.
rap extraordinarily well. Like
On the one song where he raps, bro, he's spitting.
Facts.
Like he's
Yeah,
really spitting.
every album that he drops, he makes sure to let you know I can do this.
That's
And that's one
that's
thing.
Rainbow Bap, right? Sheridan, isn't that the one where he starts rapping?
I was thinking of Endless Summer with
All
Rari
right.
on it.
Yeah.
Rainbow Bap, he kind of raps on it, but like it's still, I don't know, it's so
like in
soft that I
between.
still
Yeah, I feel
like
you.
But like
yeah.
he can spit, bro, and he's really good at being modern, witty, catchy. His flow can compete with anybody's. You feel me? My favorite thing about Jaden is when he gets kind of introspective in a unique way.
Yeah.
I think when you can like he can brag different than regular rappers can brag. Just being Will Smith's son and having movie money stemming back to 7 years old. Like,
Talking
if
about
he
talking
wanted to,
about getting credits for Tesla and shit. Like that's something really only Jaden
nuts,
Smith can sit there and be
nuts.
rapping about. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so I'm
He
just gonna say,
hip hop culture.
I think this album is amazing. I don't know if it's just because of like my circumstances, but I've listened to it already, like probably more than any of his other albums that he's dropped. I'm obsessed. Photograph is one of my favorite songs of the year. I plan on covering that soon. I think it's a beautiful song. I think there are a few beautiful songs. Falling for You with Justin Bieber is a great song. Um,
I don't like Justin Bieber really, but I'm looking forward to that song. I'm not gonna lie. Like
it's a really
I
good song. It's a
yeah,
really good song. It's not your style, but it's a great song.
I've son, it's not my style of songs that I'm gonna continuously when I'm by myself. But when I'm trying something new out, I try to have as open of a mind as possible,
Yeah.
especially now. And I'm looking forward to this project. It's gonna be hard for him to top Eris Deluxe for me. I fucking love that project. Think there's so much versatility. Rap, he did his singing thing. The features were amazing. The song with his
Yeah.
sister, fucking stunning.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not. I'm going into this not comparing it to any of his other projects,
wish
and I'm just with.
I wish that he didn't try to say that it was going to be like the end of that trilogy, the Eris Sire thing, because it very much felt like a Cool Tapes project to me, but I didn't feel as much of the other Eris Sire aspects of it, and because of that, I had a little bit of a different outtake on it, because I've never been a big fan of the Cool Tape stuff. That type of music it's definitely not for me. There are tracks on it that I really like, but it's still a good project, you know what I mean? But it was that comparison that really like made me, and I don't even downgrade it, but it was like I thought this was going to have some more elements of that, and to me it didn't.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I agree.
didn't-
I don't treat it. I don't. It doesn't feel like an endless Sire Eris trilogy for me
Mhm.
either. And this is the one aspect that I feel like it does kind of connect. Is I feel like Sire and Eris were somewhat like a type of love story.
Right.
I think
And this project seems like the end of that love story.
Fair.
Like it's over.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's over. It feels like they've moved on. And it's like what he's thinking at this point.
Yeah.
Now that they've broken up and time has gone by.
What do you expect from him going forward with the end of this trilogy series, like vibes? Like, what do you expect? You expect him to drop a bunch of singles? You expect him
Features.
to go in the back?
Features would
oh
be
my
smart,
God,
yeah.
when people, but he doesn't necessarily control features.
True.
Like he can have his manager or label, whatever he's on, try to get him positions, but for the most part, people got to reach out to you for those.
Well,
You feel me?
I meant that in two different ways though. Not only that he would be doing features, but I think his next project
reach out.
is gonna be he's gonna be reaching out to some big names.
The names he
has the bread.
He's gonna say, I think he's gonna say, you know what? It's time for me to like put out my classic. You know, it's time for me to like really
son.
put out. I think that's what he's gonna do,
He-
but I don't know.
I-
I think he's gonna get Tyler, ASAP Rocky, like
But and he
a
should
bunch of modern
he should have
artists.
been
Like,
done. If Tyler and Jaden dropped a collab tape, son, I would go nuts. I would go nuts. They're two people that I think, because of the stigma around them and how unique and unapologetically them they are, I don't think they'll ever get the credit that they truly deserve, at least right now. And Tyler's in a different class than Jaden, but I
yeah,
see
for
that
sure.
same type of lane. You feel me? I put Jaden's talent up with really anybody doing it his age. I gotta cap it at his age, but like I feel like he could spit with YBN Cordae, and that's who niggas keep on claiming is like the new leader of the new school. You feel me? And I think that he's a better artist than YBN Cordae.
He's
Yeah.
easily. I don't think it's even like. I don't think that's even a debate. I think the debate would be can he sit with Cordae as a rapper?
Yeah.
I think he can, but I can see the argument of Corday's done more. But
Rap,
I don't
just
know, dude.
strictly
Like
rap.
Jaden be going off for 8 minutes, like on some
Yeah.
introspective, wild shit. Like I don't know. Like I think he can sit with anybody. It just depends on what you're trying to hear.
Hmm.
There's a couple tracks that I've heard from him where I selfish, but I respect his artistry so much that he gives me, as long as it's not a dud, which I think he's capable of doing duds. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
Son has dropped some shit that I'm like, damn, Jaden, like, what the fuck is this? But when I've seen him at his best, it's truly amazing.
Yeah, that's what I
For
was gonna
me,
say. Like in comparison to some of the other Cool Tape, because the Cool Tape series, like I said, I wasn't a fan of. This one I liked a lot more than the other ones, so that's where I can agree. Like he's not perfect. He has dropped songs and even projects that people don't love, but his artistic ability is something that's
yeah.
undeniable, and even his rapping ability beyond that one, because it's not always there, but when he goes into that lane, you can't really deny it. I think, and people who don't listen to him a lot, eventually they catch those tracks and they're like, wait, this is really Jaden Smith, and it takes them back
Exactly.
because
That's
they
what
see
happened to
him
me.
more as like a pop artist, and next thing
Yeah.
you know, you realize he could spit and it's like really good. So it's cool. I like to see where Jaden's going. I wonder, it's a good question, where will he go? Him saying this is kind of like wrapping up two trilogies.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do next? And he has other ventures outside of music too. He's
I hope he goes. I hope he goes crazy and gets a bunch of features. I mean,
Mhm.
I think I've gotten to the point where like I've become a super fan. Like I think I'm a little biased. I was talking to a friend last night about this. Um, there are songs on the project that I don't necessarily think are objectively like the best songs or like really good songs, but I still really like them and listen. Like whenever I listen to the album, I listen to the whole thing front to back pretty much. Unless I'm listening to Photograph, I probably listen to Photograph. Photograph will be my top three most listened to songs at the end of the year. Um, but honestly, I listened to the whole album front to back. Like he's the type of artist that if you get into him, you will really really get into him.
Yeah, and that I agree with that too, because I'm kind of the same way in terms of the fact, like I'm a big fan of Jaden, but that's where it's interesting. He has like this real big diehard fan base, but he doesn't have to. It's like because his dad is Will Smith, and he has other ventures outside of music. Like that's where it's interesting, and where I wonder, will he come with the mentality of, oh, I want to make a classic? Because to me, is music just like a hobby that he does and he makes really cool artistic shit in his free time? Or is he going to come with it and say, I want to be considered one of the best? I want to be actually taken out of this realm I'm in now and placed onto another pedestal. And I would like to see that. I just wonder. And he's so young that who the fuck knows? Like he could change his mind tomorrow, and it should surprise
Exactly.
no one, because
I think Tyler's in his ear about it. I think Tyler wants him to like take it to the next level. Because I remember when he dropped Sire, and Tyler was like, "It could have been better." Like he basically Jaden said that Tyler came to him and told him that his next project needs to be so much better, and that there's different things he could have done to make it a better project. And I think Tyler's going to continue to do that because I think Tyler sees the talent within Jaden, and there probably is some parts of Jaden that like isn't totally invested in music, but I think there is like that fire inside him, and when he lets it go, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I agree, and I hope so. And that's where, again, it's just very interesting watching this artist bud into something so interesting. Like, because he does have that artisticness of like a Travis Scott, but you're seeing it at such a young age and watching it blossom into whatever it's going to become. It's very interesting because not everyone who wants to be this artistic has these resources that he has, and he utilizes
Exactly.
them so well. Like, you can't be disappointed in it. It's a lot of it is good music. So
I think that's the difference. Is Jaden has a machine behind him whenever he wants it. You
Bet.
feel me? Like if he didn't want to have full control, or if he felt like he needed some help, he could get literally the best help known to mankind for his field of work. You feel me? So if he ever wanted to change his sound or construct something differently, I have full faith that he'd be able to. When you have that many different ventures, it is hard to be 100% invested in music.
Bet. So I'm just curious to see where that'll go, but it was an interesting project and a good one. There are tracks that I do like off it, but like I said, the Cool Tape series is definitely something that it's growing on me, but isn't something I loved the first time I heard it. So we do have another project dropping this Friday. Big Sean's dropping a new album. I'm just curious what you guys think of that briefly.
Very excited, actually. I might surprise some people. I'm very excited. Big Sean is somebody I've been fucking with since late middle school, early high school, and I haven't rocked with him the past couple years. It's been extremely disappointing and unwell. But I can't even lie and say I go with old music. But I listened to Holy Key the other day. I think Big Sean, for so long, it was Drake, Kendrick, Cole, and then Big Sean. And he was a distant fourth, but he was fourth. I think he was on top of the game, and you could mention him right under them for a while. And I don't think you can at this point, but I expect big things from this album. High risk, high reward.
You don't think that he could be ranked right under them? Is what you're saying?
No.
Not at this
Dang, that's
point.
crazy. I disagree.
No.
I disagree with you
No
both so
way.
strongly.
No way.
Nah, I mean, bro, like, I don't.
I
know
disagree that he was ever even there.
And again, I'm saying
Nah,
I'm not
fuck
saying
that,
that
fuck
he's
that.
at their level. I'm saying it very much goes J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick,
Travis-
and then right
Travis
below
took-
them. That I think
Travis
he's
took
on
Big
that
Sean's
level
spot.
with Travis still though.
He was a distant fourth, but now I would say he's a distant sixth, maybe seventh. Like he's still right there. I mean, people would kill to be in his spot, and I think he's a very, very underrated lyricist. A very underrated lyricist. I don't like Big Sean's music when he's just making music. You feel me?
You
Like
think
I'm not
Big Sean is ahead of like Tyler?
Not artistically but I think maybe.
I think Tyler has had a more successful past 5 years, maybe, and I would have to look at the numbers. I think he's way more critically acclaimed, but I think
Big Sean's never had an album perform like Igor.
I don't know the numbers, bro, but I would say, in terms of, I'd say Tyler has more respect probably as.
I don't think he's one of the first people that people think about, and I think that it's wrong. But I think,
yes.
But I don't think I think that people really do think when you think of Cole, Drake, Kendrick, you do think of Sean up in that when you're thinking of him.
I disagree.
I feel like, and if we're talking about just sheer artistry, Tyler is easy in that conversation. I still put Tyler in a class of his own though, and I think people do. Like I have a hard time grouping him in with any fucking body, in terms of sales, in terms of albums, in terms of anything, just because of how unique and different his whole career is from everybody's. Like nobody has dominated merch, TV, YouTube, and mainstream media outside of Tyler the Creator has. I think that his dynamic shift in sound has also just, I don't know where to put him. You feel me?
Well, I think in a totally different Travis Scott is like how do you say Travis Scott is like, because we're talking about Kendrick, like these are like rappers. Then you bring it to Travis Scott, you bring it to Tyler the Creator.
They're all rappers, but they're like they're mainstream media rappers as well. You
Yeah,
feel me?
that's
They are
like
the
it's like the
commercially.
crossover into the mainstream, and Tyler is
So is
always he's like crossed over, but he crossed over into like the outcast part of mainstream. Like he's still.
Like Tyler still has a crazy cult fan base. You feel me? I feel like everybody else is mainstream and cliche. Like it's almost like
It's all pop. It's like pop.
Tyler
I don't know.
Kendrick has more mutual fans with Tyler than he does with Big Sean.
I might agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I still
I
don't.
would.
I still don't. And I just couldn't disagree with you more on saying it was never Kendrick, Cole, Drake, and Big Sean. It was years of that, if I'm being
and
honest.
that's probably
But
why I still
like,
have it in my head that it's that, because looking at Big Sean's discography and what he's done the last 5 years, it's more so that's that's the thought process I came up on. So that's what I think it still is. But if you look at it, it's probably
well,
not
I
that.
think
Sean probably still isn't up
I
at that
just
level,
wanna.
but he's still near there. I want to say he's still like he's still a heavyweight. He's one of the guys
I
that's.
want to rewind. Yeah, I want to rewind and say that like I'm not trying to hate on Big Sean. I used to really fuck with Big Sean. He had a song. He had that one album. He had what is it? Marvin and Chardonnay or some shit
Finally
like
famous
that. I really
album, I
fucked with
think
that
that was,
album.
yeah.
Finally famous. I fucked with that album a lot. And he did some stuff with Mac that I really liked. $100 Bill Skyscraper was a great song. He did some dope stuff back in the day, and I think he can rap with the best. I think his issue is that he tries to get. I feel like when he tries to
hold
get
up.
really like introspective
This
and
is,
conscious, I ain't fucking with. I feel like it always comes off corny.
I would kind of agree. Big Sean's corny to me sometimes. Like that, he has dropped things that I'm a full non-fan of. I also wasn't his target demographic, but his mixtape series, couple of his albums, like, and he crossed over into pop successfully. You feel me? Like, and it hindered him for a little bit. So I just looked up the chart history, and I don't know if this is fucking correct because this doesn't make sense to me. It says Tyler the Creator has one charting song. I'm on
What
Billboard
is it?
right now.
It is a
It doesn't even say. It just says Tyler the Creator has one song.
Well, he's
zero
the
top.
type. He did post one time. He was like, my album just went platinum with no hits.
Yeah.
About
and that's where
Flower Boy.
That makes sense.
where it comes down to like
But
the cult fan
I've
base
heard
type thing and
features
shit too. So
with Tyler, like his shit with Cali. That's what I think. When Tyler the Creator is doing numbers and shit like other people, I think it's the same people listening. You feel me? He's getting new fans and branching out into other lanes, but he has such a cult fan base of people that support Tyler the Creator. I think out of all of them, Tyler has the most people that are fans that wouldn't fuck with any of the other artists. You feel me? They would just fuck with Tyler. It says Big Sean has 50 Billboard hits, like 3 top tens.
his last two,
And I can only
two of his last
Yeah, I
three
would've
projects
expected
went
that.
platinum. Like that's why I consider him still in with that
I'll
for
put
to
him
an
in a different.
extent because he does numbers. Like his projects do numbers, and I think this is going to be an exciting project. Like people are going to rush to this, not to the extent you would a Drake or a Cole or a Kendrick project, but close. Because it's been a while. It's
I
been
think
3 years since we've gotten a Big Sean project, and he's gone through a lot of shit, sort of publicly, just about different things. I'm curious to see what he has to say about mental health on this project because he's publicly dealt with some shit related to that. I'm very interested in this, especially because I've been a Big Sean fan since like 2008. So
Yo, have you
Was his
heard?
last project the one with Jump Out the Window and like?
it was with
them-
Metro
what was
Boomin.
it? Yeah,
And
yeah.
that
I didn't
was
hate
under.
that project.
I was mad at that project when that dropped. There's probably 2 songs that I liked, but that was that's what I'm telling niggas. It's Drake, Cole, Kendrick, and Big Sean,
Right.
and then Big Sean comes out with that, and I'm
I
like,
didn't
oh
hate it.
man,
I didn't hate
it.
I really
It's
didn't
not-
hate it.
There
I don't
was
hate. There are no Big Sean projects that I hate.
I did
just don't
not
think.
like the Janae Aiko one, but that wasn't for me.
Yeah,
You feel me? It wasn't for me. Like that, I think that
that
what
2088
I
collaborative project.
did you what
Oh
did you feel
wait,
about
Double or
that?
Nothing. Oh nah, Double or Nothing with Metro was garbage. I was
Yeah,
talking
I
about I
decided.
Decided.
Yeah, I
Again, okay,
decided it was dope.
I liked I Decided I liked.
okay.
Um, yeah,
Yo,
Double or Not. I forgot about that one. That one was
Big
bullshit.
Sean has a song. I'm about to blow y'all mind. There's a song with Big Sean, Kendrick Lamar, and Royce the 5'9".
You told me about that.
Son, son, when I saw and Royce said that Big Sean is one of the most underrated lyricists of all time. He said that in an interview 5 years ago, and I'm sitting here like, nigga, you just got Detroit bias. You just repping your hometown. And he was like, nah, when I think of Detroit rapper lyricists, like Big Sean is up there with me, Eminem, Elzai, and this. But people are gonna find out one day. I can't blame anybody for not knowing right now, but I promise you, he doesn't talk bullshit. He doesn't say shit just cause. Like with Detroit too, I think the rollout has been so good. Like I'm genuinely excited with everything that I've seen so far. All the snippets, the promo video that he did, like it sounds like Sean. It sounds like Sean just being Sean, and that's what I like. Like he has such an unorthodox flow to me. I don't think people give him credit for his punchlines enough. I don't think people give him credit for his ability to go fast while being slow. Like his multi-syllabic pattern, it's crazy. I think he's a very very underrated rapper, and
I I'm
running
definitely
check, but I'm expecting a huge check.
I'm definitely excited for the project, if for no other reason, because like the last project with Metro Boomin felt like he was really reaching, trying to do something more mainstream, more what is today, and now I feel like he's going to go back to just rapping and doing what he does best and speaking on his shit. So I'm excited for this project. Like I said, it drops this Friday. So hopefully we got a good Big Sean project to be talking about next week.
I agree.
Uh,
Let's get
Something
it.
interesting we have to talk about this week. This one's much more local. I don't know if you guys have been following the recent beef between Talon Thomas and Rod. I don't even know what to call Rod besides Rod, so I'm gonna just call him Rod. This was a weird, interesting situation that had a lot to do with stuff that we talk about on here, but I wasn't about to talk about the beef in that way until they turned it into a hip hop beef, a rap battle, and at that point I felt like it was worth discussing. Should I just play the snippets of the two tracks pushed together and then we'll talk about it?
You should give it a slight background. I'll try to give it a slight
Yeah, you
background
give it a
from
back.
from what I know. So these are two very engaged people in the community. Talon, we spoke about many times before. He was leading the Black Lives charge and protest, getting a bunch of mainstream press uh, during the
Maybe
heightened
not leading it himself,
period
but
of these.
helping lead it.
But I'm still, that's why I
Oh,
put
okay,
like
yeah, I
this
didn't see
because
that.
he
My
was
fault.
like the face in the newspapers. If anybody didn't see, I put like this because there are so many names and people that didn't get the credit that they deserve. But shout out to Alan because I do have a large respect for him for that. Roderick is another person that I know gives his all in the community. He's constantly helping Black women in just local neighborhoods. He's constantly uh, collecting ideas and actually bringing them into fruition. I don't want to speak too much for him, but I have a large respect for both of them and what they bring to their community because they're not just the typical rappers just spitting to get a check. You feel
Yeah,
me? I know that one day I woke up and Roderick had sent a disc called Birds of Prey, I believe Birds of a Feather or something,
birds of a feather.
and
Yeah,
Birds of a Feather. And I did not expect this. I listened to Roderick music a couple months ago, and I was blown away. He's truly amazing, and I would never expect a rap beef, especially from him, going at somebody else in the community that they're both kind of working for. You feel me? It was a great diss track, super introspective. He went dumb on it, big fan, and I think Talon responded today, almost a month later. There was a pretty big buzz around it, big hype. I wish he didn't take almost a month to respond because all the hype died down from it. But I think they both did their thing, and I just wanted to provide a slight backstory for those who maybe haven't seen any of this.
Yeah, and I just want to point out too that they're both like important figures in the community. They both have done important things, and it's interesting to see this is how they're working on communicating this situation. And again,
I love it.
we're not playing both songs to their full length. I actually smashed them both up kind of together because they fortunately used the same beat, which made my life really easy. So we'll go ahead and play that real quick. It's about 2.5 minutes of the two songs mashed together.
Yeah. Let me just make something clear. I ain't spit a bar or a verse since I landed in the southern tier. That don't mean that I ain't kill it for a dozen years, listening to local rappers buzzing in my fucking ear. Here we go again, intuition, persevere. Not from Philly though, but still I feel it in the air. This ain't a diss track, I'm only trying to be sincere, but I just can't get through to you no other way.
Open up a can of worms that you ain't ready for. Stop it, Roger. It's quiet for you. Stop it. Heard your little record. It was aight, man. It took Lil Me for you to come out retirement. Let's just clarify. I think you a scary guy. Not once I spoke to you. You stared in my eyes. Damn with the lies. You ain't shit. They ain't a hair when you fly. Teletubby in the body, boy. Damn it, you hot. 8 minute to never post. Somebody spam a job. I'm a firecracker. You catch a fade. Damn it, you cop.
Your damn's watching you. That's what you inspire. I was checking for you too, cause I've been hoping to retire. Back-to-back protest. Hitting all the potholes. Riding around the city with your shirt off on the Tahoe, and everybody ate it up. How could niggas not though? Cause that was all you. It ain't have shit to do with plot, bro.
You don't know my story. Really don't know my attitude. Saying personal shit on the track. Don't make me mad at you. I ain't a politician. Now you sick. You can't control me. Dusting off your book to write about me, nigga. Like you know me. You a phony. You could never leave these gentlemen. Black lives matter. You half that. You not my melanin. You just be online.
Fuck it, I'm a Scorpio. That means that I'm too stubborn to forget it. So I dusted off my notebook, wrote my little grievances, ripped the instrumental, laid the vocals, now I'm leaving this. And I don't hate religion just because I don't believe in it. But the only thing I hate is hypocrites that be deceiving us, So miss me with that unity shit, cause I put justice over everything. That's word to my clip. And no, it ain't no hotepping if you truly legit. Because all black lives matter and it's time to commit. And keep this, the minute that you go to reply, in that booth that you soundproof with all the master supplies that I gave you at no charge, cause I'm an excellent guy. Just remember, I know all about that night in July.
Bring on the progress. How you the man of these women standing behind? But when they front line, you not a man, you standing behind. You make me sick, your divisiveness tickle a bit. The fan hit, I got a feeling you ain't built for this shit. Excuse my lingo. Battle rapping, this ain't my thing, no one precipitation. I rain hell on all these records, I got sick of waiting. You was thirsty, I got your beverage. Check your pivot, dealing with me, boy, you got no leverage.
So that's some snippets of the two diss tracks they aimed at each other. If you want to hear them in full length, which if you haven't heard them, I guarantee you will, go ahead and check them out. I'm not going to post the links to them or anything, but you can easily find them via Rod or Talon's Facebook, or if they're tuning in and they want to share them, that's super cool. But I'm not going to direct people towards their Facebook because I that's where it's very weird and very different for me. When the first track came out, it's something I probably would have covered on the website, but I didn't feel like Rod would even want that. Like I felt like that wasn't the point of it. I felt like that wasn't what it was necessary, and that's also why we didn't really talk about it on here. But once Talon responded, it kind of became an actual rap battle between the two, so it became something I definitely wanted to discuss a little bit, get your guys' thoughts on the music itself, maybe just talk about what you thought of the tracks, like anything. I mean,
I'm gonna keep it strictly music. I don't want to speak about. I wanted to provide the backstory, but I don't want to speak for either of these gentlemen. I will say, after Tarek and after fucking Jerk, and after I've seen beef-wise locally, like I'm salivating at the mouth for this type of shit. You feel me? I don't think there's any actual love lost, or if there is even love there. Like, I don't think this is out of a place of malice or hate for one another. It was more competitive nature and an open dialogue and holding each other accountable. That's what I get from these disses, and I fucking loved it, bro. I think that personally, I'm sure you guys might agree, Rod's was superior. I think his was more introspective. I think he stayed on topic more. I think his disses hit harder. I think that his rhyme schemes were more effective when he was talking about events that actually happened, and that I don't know any of these people, but when I can pick up and see like what he's talking about on the Tahoe that had nothing to do with plot, bro, I'm picking up like like this shit was nuts. I think Talon sounded really good. I think his rhyme schemes were also very engaging. I think that his disses just weren't as impactful. I think he was rapping well. I just don't think that it was nearly as cutting or razor edge as what Rod did. I think his shit was commendable in a sense. He almost did it with class. You feel me? He didn't go over the top. He wasn't like, oh, I'm about to kill you. Oh, this is super aggressive. He's kept it with an agenda. It's like he almost had plots that he wanted to, or points that he wanted to get throughout the whole song.
Is that Rod you're talking about, or Talon, or both?
Yeah, I'm talking about Rod.
Right.
He kept it almost like he had an agenda and just kept peeling. He kept peeling back layer by layer by layer. And
that's what I felt like Talon didn't do.
Exactly.
Like, I felt like Talon, like, not. I think it's a rap beef. Like, you can go at like whatever, but I just felt like going at his like weight was kind of like random. Like,
it's lazy. It's kind of lazy. Well, is the way I thought about it.
It's lazy, and if this wasn't a rap battle almost with a purpose, and if Rod didn't say the things that he did and go as deep and took facts as he did, I think Talons would have hit harder. Like, if this was a diss at almost anybody else, I feel like Talon would have probably ate their ass up. But that Roderick executed this was almost masterful, in my opinion. It sounds like he's had a couple rap beefs before in his day. You feel me? Like,
yeah, this was very interesting. It came out of nowhere when Rod dropped his, and even Talon's response kind of came out of nowhere because I thought we just weren't going to get one. And I kind of thought that was the way to go with it. I didn't think that necessarily Rod was looking for a response. He was more so looking to try and communicate to Talon in a way that he knew he could get Talon to listen to what he's trying to say and maybe make him understand. I think what he didn't expect was for Talon to get so upset about him stepping in his lane because Talon doesn't realize that Rod's a rapper too or been rapping for up till this point. So I think Talon was annoyed by the fact of how he tried to communicate it, and so he responded. But I don't think there was ever a need for a response. Like,
isn't Talon a Christian rapper though?
Yeah.
So how is this his lane?
Because to him, Rod doesn't rap at all. So for Rod to rap at him,
that's what he was saying. Like, he's like, I'm a real rapper. You're not. Like, that's basically what I got.
That's a rookie mistake, because if they go song for song, I think Roderick got that too. Like, I've heard an album from him, and I probably am gonna go back and listen to more. He sent me a couple links, and I was truly impressed. Like, it was like, I don't even want to compare it, but it reminded me of some like Common, like just super introspective.
Fuck yeah.
Like I can't even really name it. I don't want to put a tag on it. Because like I said, like you mentioned, I don't think he's in this for us to discuss about him. I don't think he's in this for no types of clout. He does it out of passion.
He deletes his Facebook every 3 months because he's not looking for the attention that comes from it. And I mean, and there's probably other reasons for it as well. But he's not plastering his face all over everything. Like, it's all yes. You don't know what he looks like.
The first thing.
I mean,
this was the first thing music wise you probably seen him post, right?
Yeah. And that's why Talon thinks it's not his lane, and that's why it's so funny. And it's like, man, like, Talon didn't really even do any research to respond, or to, like, maybe there's no research to do. But if you're going to respond to this serious of a response, like, from what Rod said to him, if you're going to respond at all, you should have something. Anything. Yeah. Anything more than you're standing behind women at protests. Like, man, they can flip that on you so easily. And the fact that, like, he needs to think about the audience that's going to listen to this, if you care. Like, you're rapping to people who probably are all about the problem at hand, which is uniting the community and shit like that. So they don't want to hear fat jokes and shit that's lazy. They want to hear something that's real. Or if it's not real, they don't want to hear it. And that's why people got behind what Rod had to say, because it felt real.
Yeah, it was genuine.
Yeah.
It was completely genuine. And something that I think is kind of funny that I just want to mention is that shortly after he posted it, I think it was like the night of, he posted a status and he was like, "Where are all these white rappers in my DMs coming from asking for features now?" Like, bro, and right after I hit him up for a feature.
That's hilarious.
So, I don't think he never opened it, so I don't know if that was included me, but I was like, oh, son probably thinks I'm just some random white kid asking him for a feature, like not realizing we spoke before. Like that shit was funny, son. I open Facebook sometimes and I just want to see a Roderick post. You feel me?
Dude,
Like
he's educated me. That's why it's very hard for me to say much wrong about what he did. And I'm not even saying Talon responding was wrong. I think it was a lazy response, and I think he could have responded better if he was going to respond. But I don't condemn someone for responding to what was said about him. But beyond that, like Rod, there's nothing I could say about that. Everything he said, like you said, it was so planned out so well. Like there's nothing wrong you could say. If you say anything wrong to him, he's just gonna school you and make you feel stupid. Like
it was just classy.
That's why you shouldn't have responded. I don't think, because it's just going to. It's a cycle that it hasn't been a good look for Talon.
As a rapper,
it hasn't for his community shit.
I will say this, to me personally, it is a good look on Talon. For me personally, I can't say in the broad spectrum of things.
Later it is.
Any response to me personally is better than no response, as long as it's not horrendous. I do not think that this was horrendous. I like Talon's song. I think it showed more skill than any Talon song. A different class of rappers because of this. Like I'm not a huge fan of his music outside of this. I think he's created some dope songs, but his rapping ability never struck me as one for a rap beef.
Then why do this is what I mean. Like why not focus more? Why shouldn't your response be the fact that you were in Washington for this march the other week and promote and continuing to promote all of that good shit you've got going on, rather than responding with this song when what Rod was saying was trying to like educate him and teach him shit. Like I just feel like what is even the point in responding when you could just continue what you're doing, the good shit in the community? Like why play into this shit? And like I just don't get it. I understand wanting to respond to some shit, but I just don't get like why don't you focus on the shit that is important, the shit that is making people talk about you, rather than making people talk about you because of some lame beef about who thinks who's more real of a activist or whatever. Like and that's where some of Talon's lines in the track too were kind of corny in that aspect. So it's like there's some stuff that really like about it, if we're not looking at it just from the hip hop perspective. And I know we wanted to keep it in that perspective, and I maybe took it a little different, but like I just wish that there was no response, because it would have just made everything else that he's doing that is so much more important better. Like take what Rod said and just like apply whatever you think can help and go from there. Don't do this, because this has just made everyone who already had something bad to say about your community effort say something else bad. Like it's not made any of that better, and that's where it sucks, because I think his community work is great. I think him becoming a face for the community was awesome. Like it was a really cool thing for Binghamton and the surrounding area to have that, and for people outside of Binghamton to have that one person they could connect with really pushing shit. Like my girl knows who Talon Thomas is and was really happy that someone in our town was doing that shit. So I get where that's cool, but I also get where it's frustrating if people who have been doing this shit for 10 years, and Talon should be able to understand that type of shit and just be like, okay, but I didn't ask for this. That's what his response should have been. I didn't ask for none of this. So
if somebody I think this is what it is. Roderick isn't allowed to say what he said without a response. I agree the response should have been different, but as a rapper, if somebody called me out and held me accountable the way that Roderick did, I have to respond. Like the something in me, I have to get my side of the story out, not just from my fan base, but I don't think Talon respond. He said, I think that he just sent a random diss track that if it was at anybody else, it would apply. And like if it was somebody else he's beefing, I think beefing with, a track like this suffices. I think that this is more of a Roderick W than a Talon L. But that's just personally. I would love to see him use this to better how he moves forward. You feel me? I him take what Roderick said into account and apply it. And I would have loved to hear him respond to it. He could have said, he could have listed what he actually did for the community, what he's done in other communities, what he's trying to do, responded to what Rod said, and talked about like, oh, I'm not perfect, I got to do better. And then the diss would have been fucking nuts. You feel me? Like it would have been accountable. It would have been more of a response than an actual diss track. I don't think he responded besides for being on the same beat and rapping back at somebody. I think he basically let Roderick say those things about him, and he just left it be. You know what I mean? There's a lot of he left a lot for perception, and it probably was underwhelming. But I think that's more so to Rod's credit than Talon's.
I think I agree for the most part. I just think that like, I just don't know if it was necessary to respond in a song. Like he could have. I like what Andrew said. Like
necessary,
he could have
no. Necessary, no. I think it's just the pride as a rapper. Like if nobody is dissing me with a diss that quality, and I'm not responding, I think his response should have and could have been better.
But you're not a Christian rapper.
I think it was a decent response.
I said, but you're not a Christian rapper. Like you're a different type of rapper than he is.
Yeah, but rap is a sport, my nigga. You feel me? Like, and he got called out. He literally got called out. And somebody. People sent the.
Go ahead.
My bad, bro. People sent the diss at me a couple years ago. Mentioned me, mentioned my father, mentioned my mother, mentioned my girl, mentioned where my friends lived at. Met all of this shit. You feel me? Like something I had to respond to that. And nothing, it was all fabricated bullshit that he said, but something in me, I had to respond. If somebody called me out and what I was actually doing and just held me accountable, no bullshit, all real shit, all first verse, if you watch battle rap, you feel me? Like this nigga really just was like, yo, hold this. Mm-hmm. This is what the ball's in your court after this. Like that it probably hurt his pride. Like that's something. It probably got to him a little bit, and he had to respond. So I can respect that as a rapper, and I'm not gonna discredit him for that. But I would like to see more than just a diss track.
That too. But my issue is like, and I don't need to see more because he's done stuff and he continues to do stuff. But my biggest issue with it is like I can see the positive outcome or the positive reasoning in Rod doing it. Like this is a way to communicate to Talon that we might not have been able to communicate to him before, and this could help him. With Talon, I don't see the positive outcome in responding in terms of all of this. I think both of them shouldn't have done this. I think that when it comes down to the community issue, they should just sit down and have a conversation and maybe I think there's a lot that Rod should try to help Talon understand. Yes, I agree, but I don't think that calling him fat. I think that closes the door a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it closes it, but I think it just like it disrupts the whole issue. Like, so why respond?
It's counterproductive.
Yes,
it's super counterproductive. It does nothing for the situation. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There were lines in the diss track that literally, like compared to what Roderick said, were almost incoherent. It doesn't compare. But I think that just because you called him, like Roderick made probably 2 or 3 statuses that were absolutely hilarious about just responding to the fat jokes. Like that fucking hilarious. I don't think you even address it or do it like that if you're not just like, I think he's clowning him on some little bro shit. Like you did not do enough, bro. Like, but I think they can both put their pride aside and have a productive conversation for their community. I have faith in them for that, and I think that something like this does open the door for that.
For sure. We are running a little short on time, so we're not going to talk about Sheridan's favorite rapper, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and his beef with Lil Durk, even though that would tie in perfectly with the beefs we're talking
Yeah, I
about
don't
right
want to
now.
talk about it anyway.
Yeah, we're good on that. We can
That's a first.
let's very briefly, just talk about Doja Cat being the best new artist. Again, another one of Sheridan's favorite artists. So I know that he was happy about this MTV VMA placement for Doja. I guess just who we might have chosen in place of Doja Cat, maybe.
You go first, cause I have a weird take on this.
All right, so if we're talking to me going first, I would just say Roddy. And that's like that because he was nominated. But I think outside of that, he's not really a new artist. So I don't pay much attention enough to who I would consider best new artist. So I will just allow them to say whoever. But because Roddy was in competition with her, I would say Roddy. Outside of that, I honestly don't really care who was named the best new artist unless they're up against someone that I think really should have won. It's a weird class, so I don't know.
I think. Go ahead.
So I don't think the best new artist is ever actually like the best new artist. It's kind of just like who like had the like most success and made good music.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and so I think that Roddy would be a good choice if it was like a different timing, but he kind of blew up at the end of last
2018.
year.
I think Roddy might have even blew up well,
I'm
not
talking about when
blown
he
up,
dropped.
but
I'm talking about when he dropped his album, bro. That's when
Yeah.
he like went up, bro. Like that album was critically acclaimed. Like he really
the box
Next
changed.
level,
went
yeah.
crazy.
Box changed.
So yeah, I think that was really when he could have gotten that award, but it was too close, or maybe even after the award ceremonies when it came out. So it wasn't easy to like do that. I think in general, Doja Cat probably makes the most sense. I just like I don't know how I feel about her as a person.
I would agree with that. Like I was a big Doja Cat fan till she came into some absolutely wild controversy. That
And one
I
that didn't
think-
really get fleshed out enough for us to really know if it was one way or the other. So we're kind of just left in where you kind of pick your own side and what you want to believe. And that makes it kind of hard to decide if you're someone who really wants to fucking pick. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
there were some absolutely insane accusations against her that I don't know how validified they are. But I saw videos of Doja Cat doing some atrocious shit as well in chat rooms, and it was definitely Doja Cat. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was more towards like the racial. I'm gonna play the black person with a room full of white people and let them say what they want to me, and I'm gonna say what I want to them. It was so tasteful, but she couldn't ever predict where she would catapult to in her career. I'm not going to make any excuses for her because what I saw and what she's accused of is disgusting. Her rise was she catapulted though, and with some real quality music. I think she was making music that competed with any female rapper in the game, and I think she's more known as a meme. But how my ex-girlfriend Nicole put me on to like real good Doja Cat. Real good Doja Cat. We would sit there, bump it in the car, bump it at the crib. And after a while, I'm like, yo, why isn't she getting the respect that she deserves? Like, her numbers are there. She's mainstream now. But I don't feel like she's getting the credit or respect that she deserves. And right as I started to think that, the controversy happened.
Yeah.
I think that when you put her next to a name like Roddy Ricch in that contest, I think Roddy is the clear winner. But I would agree. Like I was listening to Roddy in late 2018, so I don't consider him.
He's not new. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wish they
think
wouldn't
that
have
had to
nominated him
play.
because you're right. It has to play into it, but then it's like, why the fuck was he nominated at all? Like it's.
It is stupid. It does look like a slight, or like they snubbed him. But I don't think Roddy even cares.
I wouldn't
about it
even
being
call. I don't know. Like I don't know if I would call it a snub. Like I feel like Doja Cat makes just as good of music as Roddy Ricch.
I would say
It's
Too
for a
different to
different
compare.
it's a different demographic, but I just like in terms of
I
like
don't
music
I don't.
quality and originality, I think they're both
Doja
very
Cat is
like
so original. I've
yeah,
heard I like so original. I've heard her rap her ass
they can
off.
both rap and they can
Yeah.
both sing. Like I don't know, like I wouldn't call it a slight.
But I would say like to the public eye, that's a slight. And I think that people, if you look at the nominees, people
At
would look at it
at
like
the end of the
a
day,
slight.
it could be like, I don't know. I think it could be viewed as a snub, but it's
I'm
not
not
like it's I don't know. I think it's also in. Go ahead.
I'm not
Yeah.
mad. I'm not mad, and I think that Doja needs this a lot
Oh yeah.
more than Roddy does. So I think that that also plays into it. I'm not sure what Doja's longevity in the game is after controversy, or where she's even going to want to be with her mental health,
hmm
because it's going to be hard to win back the hearts
Well,
of
and
people.
at
Um,
least Roddy didn't spend 100,000
You gotta
on.
do a song with Meg.
At least Roddy didn't spend 100,000 on championship rings like Jack Harlow did for his team leading up to the VMAs. I seen that, and poor guy didn't even win either of the VMAs he was nominated for. Didn't even win Song of the Summer. A song called "How You Like That" by Blackpink. I don't even know what that song is.
I don't know what that is either.
Yo, that's K-pop, bro.
So that's the
Yo,
song of the summer.
fuck it. That nigga still deserves some championship rings. Like
Yeah, but
I
it's
He lost to
unfortunate
K-pop.
he paid and then
He
lost to
lost to
K-pop.
K-pop.
I saw that. I had no idea that the championship rings were a preemptive celebration for a win that he didn't get.
Maybe they weren't,
That
but
is
it seems
embarrassing.
like it. But I don't
I,
know.
I, I it probably does. It does seem like that, but I still think he deserves. The rings. I saw the rings. They don't have anything to do with the
Yeah.
VMAs. I think that's probably he probably took it was a maybe loss before he got him. So shout out to Jack Harlow. I really fucks with homie, but that's actually hilarious.
That's crazy that it's not
He
Song of
lost
the
to
Summer.
K-pop. Oh my god, bro.
Song of the summer. I guess
Our
I'm so
last
out of
brief
touch,
topic. Our last brief topic before we play a couple tracks and get out of here. We got to talk about your guys's. Weren't you guys betting on the Nuggets and the Clippers? That's the bet, right? That's the $100 bet, and now it's officially starting. The first game is tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
I know
Tomorrow
he's scared.
night.
Tomorrow night. All right.
I think you should be scared. You should be scared right now.
know, son.
You should be scared.
He secretly wanted the Nuggets to lose against the Jazz, bro. He didn't want to pay this on it.
You should
Nah,
be
bro.
scared right now.
And
You should
yo,
be shaking.
bro, if you're scoring 80 points against the Jazz, 80 points
don't
against the
care.
Jazz, my nigga.
Momentum. It's momentum. 3-1
It's
comeback.
momentum.
Man.
12
My
12
nigga,
hits.
you was one shot away from getting sent home. I don't want to hear it.
It don't matter. It don't
You
matter.
know what?
Just wait.
Yo,
Ride that
Bro,
momentum
son.
to $100, hopefully.
nah,
PG's
he's
a
riding
bum.
that.
PG's
Son,
a bum.
I'll give it
Blue
to
Whale's
you.
a bum.
I'll give this to you, son. I did not think the Nuggets were gonna make it, and I think the Nuggets are a way better matchup for the Clippers than the Jazz. I think that Clippers versus Jazz ends in 5 or 6. I think the Nuggets have a chance to push this to 7, and I think they have a chance to win. Like, I'm not gonna say they have a 0% chance to win, but I think that you're absolutely. If you think that you're the favorite in this $100 bet, or the Nuggets,
No, I know I'm not the favorite, but I know that we're gonna win.
That's confidence. I dig it.
How many games do you think it's gonna go?
7. 100%.
So you don't see your guys as possibly winning in 6.
Nah, we like close games. We like close series. I think we'll go every series 7.
I'll tell you this. Jamal Murray is not going to have the series he did against the Jazz, and he's not going to have the series he had against the Mavericks. I mean, Luka, he's not going to have the series that Luka had against the Clippers. You feel me? I think that when you take away the Nuggets home,
but Jokic,
when you
Jokic
take
is
away
gonna
the
have 35.
when you take the Nuggets home court advantage away, bro, when you go against the elite, I really do think that you're going to get exposed. That's how I personally feel. And I think Jamal Murray just had his coming out show, but I think that that's going to be short-lived and that he's going to come back to reality in this Clippers game. I do not think you can you cannot count on 35 or 40 a night from him, and you cannot play one game where you guys go 80 points. If you score 80 points in any fucking game, it's an automatic L. You will never win an 80-point game against the Clippers. I promise you that.
He could be right. If you're listening in the comments, let us know who you think's got this bet.
When I saw the Nuggets scored 30 in the second half and won, I was blown out of my mind, bro. Like, props to you. It was like, I got to give you guys credit because you guys definitely pulled it through. You guys are a great team, super young. I just think you guys are a couple years away and like one more piece.
We're a trade away. If we lose this, if we lose this series, we will trade away MPJ for someone like Bradley Beal or or try to get up DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar would be.
That's who I think we're gonna end up with. Bro, if I'm being 100% like honest, I think if we lose this series, we will pick up DeMar DeRozan.
Are you even gonna? Do you think they're even gonna try for Giannis or a big name free agent this year?
Not Giannis, no. I don't think we want Giannis.
But before we get too deep into the NBA talk, we're gonna have to keep it pushing. Like I said, if you're in the comments, let us know which one of these guys you think is gonna come away with the $100 in their bet between the Nuggets and the Clippers. Very interesting competition we've got going on here on the Cypher. So I'm looking forward to it.
Isaiah got me.
We are going to go ahead and quickly play our tracks. We're not going to do too much talking about them or before them. We're just going to play them because I got to go here in about 10 to 15 minutes. But before we do that, I wanted to mention something I was supposed to mention at the top of the show and didn't mention, but I don't want to totally overlook it. The producer contest competition that we were planning on doing in the coming weeks, we're going to postpone that a little bit, primarily because we want to have a better feel of how to judge it, an outline and criteria of how we're going to base this. It's something that we should have thought about a little bit more, and I think we'll actually, my thought is we'll probably pull someone like Jake Daniels on the show to talk to him and maybe get some ideas from him on what would be a good way to judge it, a good way to think about it, and just get another outside opinion on it. And then we'll go from there. So it's definitely going to happen at some point, but rather than rush into it and do something really low quality or something we're not comfortable with right now, we're going to wait and give it to you guys in proper fashion. So sorry if we got anybody's hopes too up for that, but we want to make sure we do shit right, especially for all the producers. So yeah, 100%. All of that said, we're going to jump into the tracks. Like I said, we're not going to talk too much about them because we're short on time, but Sheridan, your track.
This one is Bad Vibe by Kyng off his new album, and it's featuring me and PS.
Facts, let's get it.
A little bit louder.
Yeah, girl, you a vibe. Fuck the attitude, put that shit to the side. Something like your panties, cause you know I had to slide. Pull up in the truck, come and get in my ride. You looking sexy in them red tall heels. Sitting staring at you like a full-course meal. Tight on the dress and the wrists on chill. Fendi on that bag and the B on the wheels. Yeah, I love the way she work it. I'ma spend it all cause baby girl is worth it. Yeah, baby girl is real. I'll leak you all my secrets, I hope you never squeal.
Let's chill by the pool and relax, girl. Just taking a break from the fast world. You know I never play, never let, girl. I swear you my babe by your fabulous. Don't even gotta say you're back, cause you hear it every day, never stay the man. And I always gotta lay the pack. Then I move it, baby girl, make her pay a tax. Tell them
bad vibe, she about 5'5", brown hair, green eyes, nice lipstick thighs. Bad vibe, she a dime, wild fine, but I'ma treat her like a 9. Can't let it go to a mind. Excuse me, I don't mean to waste your time, but let me buy you a drink if you don't mind. What you like? I'm a Henny type of guy, but I'ma let you know I'm not just any type of guy. I know you've heard the same thing from plenty other guys. You should've went and took cover for them guys. You're not a snack, you a meal. And I need you by my side like a burger with some fries. If I said I didn't like an attitude, it'd be a lie. She a vibe I can't deny. Even if I tried, if I said I didn't like an attitude, it'd be a lie. She a vibe I can't deny. Even if I tried, you heard?
Yo, I'ma pull her close. We could take a trip so we out to the coast.
Or I got a bag full of dope. I can get a wood and I can fill it up with smoke.
Kyng, I'ma give him smoke. One hand on my girl, I'ma pull up with the scope.
Huh? I be with gangsters, you ain't know? Don't talk, you better pop if you want smoke.
5'5" with brown eyes, the curiosity high if they think she not mine.
They never could be, they wish they could be. Bad vibe with no makeup bun and hoodie, huh?
Let's chill by the pool and relax, girl. Just taking a break from the fast world. You know, never play, never let go. I swear you my babe by your fabulous. Don't even gotta say it back, cause you hear it every day, never stay no man. And I always gotta lay the pack. Then I move it, baby girl, make her pay your tax. Tell 'em.
And that's Bad Vibes off of Kyng's project that just dropped this week. L.A.M.E. featuring Sheridan. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't listened to the project. Dope little preview of it there. Ant, what track do you got lined up for us today?
I got August by my man Mig Maso. We played his track Killing Season a couple weeks ago, and Sheridan really fucked with it. You didn't fuck with it too much. It was a song that you were super surprised that I fuck with. And I don't like this one as much as Killing Season. Still a bop though. And I fucks with it. I think Son, and the cover art for this is fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I think Son,
bro.
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts.
I agree with that. I thought it was a dope use of like what is that's like the Apple like emoji thing, right?
He had this cover
all
art
right.
made. Like
This shit's way cooler.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Wait,
It's like someone tried to do that, but did it in the cool version.
It looks like Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. So we got the cover art for you
Yo,
guys.
it looks like him as like a Bratz doll or some shit. Like it is so dope. But regardless, the song is called August by Mig Maso, and I think that he presents himself super professionally without having much of a catalog out there. So anytime he drops, I'm gonna keep my head out. So interested to see how y'all like
Let's
this.
get it. Mig Maso, August.
Shorty suck me in the whip. We ain't even make it to the crib. 45 on the fit, you know I'm rich. Shorty suck me, yeah, she suck me for a tip. Shorty suck me in the whip. We ain't even make it to the crib. 45 on the fit, you know I'm rich. Shorty suck me, yeah, she suck me for a tip. She won't fuck me cause she like the way I live. Keep that Glock, it's on me high and in my sphere. See a op around me, nigga, he get hit. Every day, nigga, that's just how he live. She come over and fuck. I can't show no love, I'm high on drugs, you know a nigga turning up. Bend it over on the floor, and she won't fuck a little more. I told her suck a little more. Copper Pete, let's smoke. I was chilling with the bros, and then the hoes came over, and we all got involved. Rolling off of something neither of us can control. I'm just hoping, praying all these drugs will make a nigga overdose. Keep them close, right, me and John Doe. Save my soul. If you got a problem with them, get smoked. Story switching, feel like it's the end of a road. Xanax in my system got me losing hope. Shorty suck me in the whip. We ain't even make it to the crib. 45 on the fit, you know I'm rich. Shorty suck me, yeah, she suck me for a tip. She won't fuck me cause she like the way I live. Keep that Glock, it's on me high and in my sphere. See a op around me, nigga, he get hit. Every day, nigga, that's just how he live. Told a bitch I call her on a 35th. Yeah, I got a Glock, it's in the whip. She won't fuck me, now she like the way I live. Drop a quarter in my woods, you know it's lit. I don't really give a fuck about a bitch. If she bad, I'll fuck her mama or a sis. Keep that Glock, it's on me high and in my fit. If I see ops around me, nigga, they get hit. Yeah, shorty suck me in the whip. We ain't even make it to the crib. 45 on the fit, you know I'm rich. Shorty suck me, yeah, she suck me for a tip. She won't fuck me cause she like the way I live. Keep that Glock, it's on me high and in my sphere. See a op around me, nigga, he get hit. Every day, nigga, that's just how he live. Shorty suck me in the whip. 45 on the fit, you know I'm rich.
That's August from
Why
Mig
is that
Maso.
so
Yeah,
funny?
that was
Yo,
real dope.
Why does he just drop hits, son? Like,
Yeah, bro. Like, I honestly, when you sent it, I listened to it and I didn't really fuck with it. But this time, listening to it, I was like, "Oh, bro, this shit
it's a
is
fucking
wavy."
bop,
Yeah.
son.
Yeah, yo.
Every time he says Shorty sucked me in the whip. We ain't even make it to the crib. I just like, oh yeah, like, like we bopping. I think his loose train of thought and his ability to repeat lines simplistically with the melodies and
just
I don't
the way
even
he
know.
worked with the beat and shit on that too. Like it was all really really good. Like I fucked with that. You mentioned how I didn't like the last track you played by him. I don't remember that off the top of my head, but I really like this. Like that, so that's surprising. Like it's not surprising to me, but it's cool.
It was a very, very similar vibe. He sounded exactly the same. This was more steady, like more steady and consistent. I do like the other track a little bit more, but this is a much more casual, just like I don't know.
So like it's such a
laid
vibe.
back as hell. So, like I can't. I'm really looking forward to whatever he has to come. We're working on some music together right now, and I don't even.
With him.
I got you. I'll send you his Instagram today.
So that was dope.
He like this is the dude that he's with the Dwellers. He's not in the Dwellers. I don't know if they're family or just best friends, but I know that they're
working together,
constantly engaging community. Exactly, and they fit the same type of vibe visually almost.
Since we're cutting it on time, I'm gonna just play. Well, I'll introduce the next track, but that's gonna basically be our outro. If you guys want to plug your anything real quick before we play that, and before I talk about it, we'll go ahead and do that now, and then I'll talk about the track.
I got you. I kind of want to apologize, even though I don't got shit to be sorry for, because I haven't dropped a project. It's coming though. Making sure everything is solidified. I just shot the first video off of this project this weekend. Super excited for it. Crazy family vibe. Zakai came through. We had an amazing shoot, and I'm planning on shooting a couple more as these next couple weeks roll out. So I'll keep you guys updated with a release for the project as it comes. I just don't want to say
this year.
Easy. Easy. I want to have 2 out by the end of this year. I was kind of talking to today, everything ready, but I don't shooting the videos as we go. I want to have the videos and the press ready for once I drop the project. I just secured. So we'll be good. I'm gonna make sure everybody's fed as we keep going, and I still have this Black Lives Matter video that should come out within the next week or two. I might debut it on next week's episode, but we'll talk about that. It'll be on the next 2 episodes. You can go run up whatever I got on Spotify. Clean Slate still out there. Follow me on social medias, and I cannot wait to get this new music out to you guys. From what I've shown to a couple people, it has been some of the best reaction that I've gotten so far. So I'm really excited, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me. It's actually a very good episode today, guys. So good shit.
Thanks. I got videos finally getting accepted by my distro, so they're coming soon. I got a couple other songs I'm gonna drop this year. I don't know if I'm gonna drop a project though. I'm probably gonna hold on to that till next year. Probably give you 2 or 3 next year. But other than that, just stay tuned. Follow me on all my social medias. You know what it is.
Get it.
Make sure you guys follow Upstate Aesthetic if you haven't already. Another news bit I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, Matthew Cornwell dropped a new interlude track earlier this week. He's got some more stuff in the pipeline coming this month. So he's a really dope artist who we talk about a lot on here. I wanted to make sure to mention that at some point during the show. Again, want to remind all of the producers that we're postponing that competition. If you missed it a couple minutes ago, you could hit us up and I'll explain why. This last track I've got is a track from D-Shawn. It was actually supposed to be a different track because we previewed a different track last week, but he sent me this one. He said it's a little bit more for the times in terms of just what's going on in the world. He wanted to be able to play a song with that type of statement, and I agree with that 100%. He wanted to get our feedback on it, but obviously we're not going to be able to do that. But D, if you want, hit us up and we'll give you our feedback on it individually, no problem. But I'm excited to listen to this. Your music's always real dope, and the fact that it's going to be something a little bit more insightful is always social something like that is very very cool, like, because that's not necessarily a direction I would expect D to go. So it's very cool. So here we go. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Sorry for the quickness of ending the show. I'm actually in the middle of a Zoom class right now, so we're killing it. Here's D-Shawn.
We got bigger problems than try and kill your brother, man. Trump still president while Kanye trying to win. Crazy how the rich throw dirt and get no consequence. Everything's black and we proud, we on some gothic shit. Down low from nothing, hood full of poverty. And see the bullets, jail time, cops fire me. And still slaves to this day, that's the irony. Fall, get up, mama said, boy, stay on your feet. Shooters all with me, warriors from the east. Pride in the Jeep, never show defeat. Pull up on the back block, try and get a G. Don't put a crack rock, hood full of fiends. He ain't had no pop, so the Glock up in his jeans. Whole lot of rats, half these rappers gon' sing. Pull up to the track, to a youngin', not a thing. Try and hit and double back, like we missed the phone ring. Damn, D when I'm sliding through. I was taught to shine, it's nothing new. Born a king, but I was also born a fool. Why? Bad habits in the habitat. God kick them like karate moves. This ain't happen on accident. Ghetto say we not human, got a lot to prove. One of a kind, I am colored and I am not average. You should feel like that too. Yeah, you see my people back up in, hold up on the news. Someone to blame and they looking like who? And it's crazy cause the ones looking is the who. Hard to win, feeling like a lose-lose. World looking doomed. So we set the world on fire like boom. Hear myself, I know God hearing me now. Ready to shoot shit up, I hope they fearing us now. Cap no gown, cop shot another nigga down. And I can shout, but my voice don't got no sound. Pulling up, about to knock these doors down. Look, need respect like mama need a check. Daddy never home, mama did her best. If you really know knowledge is power, that's the flex. Getting older, heart colder, feeling like the coldest. Fix the hood is the purpose, the world is soulless. Can't be mad, filled with anger that came from the hopelessness. Cops pull me over by heart, get the choking. Cause will they kill me? I'm thinking, but you ain't noticed. The pain is hard to notice. Can't show emotion as a man, it's hard to cope with. Heart feeling lonely. First I left it open, I could speak more shit. Same shit happening from 06. I'm a young OG, just let me go in. Feeling like the Reds, cause we done been fed up. Just keep your head up, everything real when I'm flowing. On a slow rise, told my people stay focused. Called us nigga, now we saying nigga. Labeled us savages, and now we all savage. The picture way bigger, they just want the cash in. Blame it on the masses, why racism is massive. All 2020, BLM, been the caption. Ain't no more talking, put the words into action. Hey, other day a new video of a color man. Feeling like blasting, cause it's again and again. Shooting like the Mavericks, put these pigs to an end. Invest in land, young and really fuck up bands. Bullet to his head, or scoped by the feds. Hood far from equal, we looked as less. Nothing like the rest. Up grinding all night, young and he don't rest. Hustle all night for that illegal check. From one mistake, system judge your whole life. All these jails, churches don't believe the hype. Piss poor, homeless people sleep outside at night. Kids missing every other day, this shit not right. Trump still president, that shit not right. Register yourself, boy, you better learn your rights. American National, get it out of sight. More you know, the more you'll be. Let's continue putting up this fight. We got a lot to prove. OGs was lied to. Young and yeah, they lied to you. Young and I done paid my dues. Bad habits in the habitat. God kick them like karate moves.